Welcome to the Raven Knoll Show. I'm your host, Raven C. Knoll, known as the Soul Physician. I'm a wife, mother, counselor, mindset plus life coach, and speaker, and this is episode number 15. Hey, and welcome back to season 3 of the podcast. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that we are already in season 3 of the Raven Knoll Show. I think it's just unbelievable to me that what I looked at as an idea and a goal, and in a sense, just kind of like a dream of mine to kind of produce and create my own show in a sense, is actually a reality. And I'm actually in season 3 of the podcast. Time flies. Like I said, remember when it was an idea, and now here we are, boom, season 3. And so to my faithful RCM Pod Squad, as always, thank you so much for rocking and rolling with me. If it wasn't for my old faithfuls, where would I be? But I am excited about this season of the podcast because it's really going to be juicy. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to be such great conversation. I'm just so excited about it. I actually ended last season with a little bit of a teaser, and I let you know that I was going to be interviewing some amazing women in season 3. And so here we are. But before I release any of those episodes, I wanted to do a little bit of an intro with my why behind the season, particularly this season, which is called Known for Influence. So like I told you, I connected with some fantastic women. Some of them I knew personally, some of them I didn't. And I really just wanted to have a open conversation with them, just a real, raw, and relatable conversation about life as an influencer. And so there are many reasons why I felt this type of conversation was so necessary and so important and just needed right now in this time. And first and foremost, I myself would look at myself as an influencer in some capacity. I do have an online and offline business, and I do have my hands in a couple different things. I'm not just like an online brand influencer or a lifestyle influencer or anything of that nature, but I have online business, and then I've been in ministry. There's just different aspects to who I am and the different hats and different things that I wear. And so the women in this actual series, you're going to see that they are a wide variety of influencers like that are your social media brand and lifestyle influencers. And then you have women who are more influential in ministry. And then you have some women that are more influential in the business realm. And so I wanted to make sure that I kind of got the perspective from these women in all different capacities, not just our typical online social media influencers that we see all the time, but those that also have influence in different realms. And so that's why I'm so excited about this conversation. But back to my why. So first off, I've talked a few times here on the podcast, also on some YouTube videos that I've done about my heart and how it was shattered when I heard the news of Chelsea, who was Miss USA 2019, and how she died by suicide. And just the unfortunate events that surrounded her death was just overwhelming and just completely heart shattering. And it just really gripped my heart, in a way that other news that I've heard in the past didn't do so much. And so I knew that it was something important that the Lord was really using me to do, to have these conversations, to be able to shed light on some of the areas that, social media kind of produces mentally and emotionally, and those that show up in influence in different capacities in that nature. And so, she herself would have been considered an influencer. I know that she was an attorney, and then she also was on a show. I can't remember exactly which, TV Insider or something of that nature. She was hosting that, and then she showed up online and different things that nature. And so she definitely would be considered an influencer. And I just don't think people truly understand how much pressure mentally and emotionally people who have these front-facing careers are under, because it's often overshadowed by pretty Instagram feeds, right? And so when you are an influencer and you are, whether it's business or you have some type of online presence, if that's being a lifestyle influencer or a brand influencer or whatever it is, celebrity, sometimes you are working with brands and you're working with deals. And so you want your feeds to look a certain way, or you want your content or what you produce to look a certain way. And so because you produce at that level, sometimes what you produce and what it looks like can overshadow what's actually happening behind the scenes. And so I'm not saying that having a nice Instagram curated feed is wrong or anything of that nature. But what I am saying is that people's lives can be misinterpreted based on a highlight reel. And I've had some really good conversations thus far with women in these fields, and just the behind the scenes look, that all access look, is really going to be captivating for those that are going to be listening into the podcast this season. And so that's number one. And then second, I think there are a lot of people who desire to have front-facing career roles. So whether that's being an online entrepreneur, whether that's being a brand influencer, whether that's being a well-known public speaker, whether that's being an influential leader in ministry or in the marketplace, whether that's having a popular podcast or whatnot. I think that there are a lot of people that desire these roles because we live in a culture that puts a lot of light on the online presence now. And so these different career paths can be something that people kind of gravitate to because of that, especially in this culture and this time that we live in. But not everyone understands the cost and the sacrifice of these type of roles, especially when you start to see yourself showing up in this capacity full time, that this is not just a hobby, but these are the lives, the career roles, the full-time roles that these women show up in, and even myself. And so I think that sometimes you don't realize the cost and the sacrifice that's connected to it. And then lastly, I believe that these episodes will also provide a level of support and relatability to women who they themselves are in these front-facing career roles, like I mentioned, okay, the ones that I kind of listed off, and they're listening, and maybe they're struggling like Chelsea struggled with high-functioning depression or some other struggle internally like anxiety or something of that nature. And listening to these episodes allows them to find a place of safety, and they connect to one of the women that I'm interviewing or one of the interviews that I'm hosting, and they feel like I'm struggling and I'm not alone in this struggle, and that there are others who understand and also struggle like I struggle. And so that may save a life. That may encourage someone to be accountable to their friendships or different things of that nature about how they're struggling. That may give them the strength to be able to speak out about things that they may be struggling with behind the scenes. And so those are really my whys behind this season that I'm just so excited about, because I believe that it's going to be impactful on many levels. And I just found so much joy in these interviews. I found so much joy being able to ask these questions and to really dig deep with these women and have rich conversations. And some of the conversations I didn't want to cut off, but I had to, due to, time constraints with each podcast. But some of the conversations got really good, and it was really hard to shut it off because it's just such a needed conversation right now. And so I just really believe in the impact that these conversations will have. And I hope that you truly enjoy them as well. So make sure you tune in every Wednesday through the summer, because I'll be dropping new episodes right here on the podcast. And I'll also be dropping video episodes every Friday on YouTube. So you're going to get a double whammy this season. And I hope that you're excited, because it's really going to be some really good conversation. So buckle up. The first episode releases in just 2 days. So make sure you are subscribed and following the podcast on all podcasting streaming services, but also, or all podcasting streaming platforms, but also on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll make sure I put the links inside of the show notes for you. But you want to make sure you don't miss it, because new episodes are about to hit really, really soon. I'll talk to you soon. This has been the Raven Knoll Show. Thanks for listening. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast so you're the first to know when new episodes are released. And don't forget to leave a review. If you can't wait until the next show, follow along on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter at Raven C. Knoll for more tips and to keep the conversation going. Go ahead and DM me on Instagram, or take a screenshot of this podcast and share it to your IG stories. I want to know about your takeaways from the show. Don't forget to tag me and use the hashtag RCNPodSquad. Lastly, visit my website at ravencnoll.com and join my email list to get exclusive bonuses only for my email subscribers. Thanks again for rocking and rolling with me. I'll talk to you soon.